From someone who never read the comic books, I would say that I absolutely loved the movie. I was expecting amazingness. I got double amazingness.
How does this look?
Basically, our general opinion of X-Men Origins Wolverine was...
amazing!
Epic!
Oh my
awesome!
god!
Schling, schling.
What the hell is schling schling?
Okay, can you not watch this?
Why not?
First of all, it's embarrassing. Second of all, the date is in 20 minutes, the Uber's gonna be here in 5, and we've yet to agree on an outfit, so I ask again, how does this look? Don't you always wear that shirt? So, is Logan as epic as X-Men Origins Wolverine? Haha. But no, it's not as epic. And I'm glad. It's nice to see a superhero movie focus less on being epic and more on having actual stakes for once, not to mention a legitimate enemy. Legitimate enemy? You thought Robo Malfoy was a legitimate enemy? He was as one note as any other superhero movie villain. That's not the real enemy. The real enemy is time. The passage of time. The impermanence of life. How's this shirt? What are these, dandelions? No. Characters die and come back all the time in these X-Men movies. Yeah, but in this case, it's less about the deaths of the characters and more about the fact that these actors won't be playing them anymore. It's the end of an era. You really think we've seen the last of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and Patrick Stewart's Professor X? Yes, I do. For the sake of enjoying this movie, I do. How's this shirt? The shirt is fine, but now the pants don't work. Of course. But really, I found it powerful that after all the enemies that Wolverine has faced and all the battles he's been through, something as common as mortality is what ended up taking out him and Professor X, making it, by default, the most relatable superhero movie yet. And another reason it's different this time around is because of the R rating. I think it really helped to finally see the damage that Wolverine can do, especially because he doesn't want to do it. And it was nice to finally hear Professor X say fuck. That's what these movies have been missing. I'm so sorry, but now I don't like that shirt with those pants. You know, beyond the violence and the language, I think the most important thing that the R rating allowed for was more adult themes. And Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart really stepped up to the plate in that regard. I mean, Hugh Jackman,
out of the ballpark,
incredible.
I would have to say. But I mean, that's expected.
see, even back in 2009 that was expected. I think we take for granted how perfect he and Patrick Stewart are in these roles, and their performances are solid even in the worst X-Men movies. Since I didn't read the comics, their portrayals of these characters are the versions that mean the most to me. That said, they've never been better. I really gotta hand it to them for giving both characters such beautiful send-offs. Logan's death scene had me emotional, but it was nothing compared to Professor X. Professor X! Huh?
Professor X!
Oh my god!
Oh my god! What the hell am I doing with my hands? Were you really that surprised that they died, though? Aside from the fact that this is supposedly their last outing as these characters, the marketing made it pretty obvious that at least one of them would die. Well, luckily I only watched half the first teaser. That's right. That's something else that's changed a lot over the years. What? If you're like me, you don't watch movie trailers before you see movies, because they spoil the movie. Thank you very much for watching, and that's pretty much it. What's your point? You used to watch every single trailer that came out, and you did individual reviews on them. Then you stopped watching trailers altogether, and now you do trailer reactions. A year or two ago, you would have been appalled by the thought of doing trailer reactions. I do not do trailer reactions like everybody else, okay? They're post-movie trailer reactions, okay? I came up with it. They're different. Whatever makes you feel better about yourself. I do not do trailer reactions. Regardless, I think they could have pushed Charles' death even further and had him die before Logan found him. Imagine Logan saying it wasn't me over and over after Charles had already died, and then bringing it up at the burial that Charles died thinking he killed him. I don't think my heart could have handled that. Charles telling Logan to buy the boat was enough for me. I was a wreck. I think everyone's emotional attachment to these characters is causing them to go a little too easy on this movie. I mean, had Hugh Jackman decided to retire the character after The Wolverine or Days of Future Past, would either of those movies be held in higher regard? Also, no to this shirt. Well, Logan was a better made movie, save for those awful scenes where the main characters literally sit in a car and watch someone explain the exposition in a video on a cell phone. I mean, how'd you even edit that together? It's like vlog footage and footage from inside the hospital? Did the people that killed her let her finish editing it? It's ridiculous. And then, when X-24 is in the farmhouse and he's tearing through and killing everybody, they're like watching footage of him killing people, and it's over his shoulder. It's like footage from the movie. That's some straight-to-DVD quality filmmaking right there. That's a nitpick. And that's a bad shirt. Plus, that's my point. I think the emotional attachment is causing everyone to let a lot of things slide, including, but not limited to, the fact that this movie doesn't make any sense. First of all, the movie should take place further in the future because Logan looks like he aged multiple decades in 6 years, and prior to that, he looked exactly the same for like 100 years. Also, Charles mentions that he met Logan as a cage fighter, but as James McAvoy, he met Wolverine multiple times in the 60s and 70s. But the biggest problem is the adamantium bullet. It's a fucking disaster. I mean, not as much of a disaster as this shirt, but a disaster nonetheless. Let me get this straight. Logan keeps an adamantium bullet in case he wants to kill himself. But in X-Men Origins Wolverine, he takes 2 of those bullets to the face from point-blank range and wakes up a few minutes later with a headache. Those bullets didn't kill him in Origins because he was in his prime. In Logan, he's old and much weaker. But that bullet is used to kill X-24, who is literally a clone of Wolverine in his prime. Okay, well, Days of Future Past made it so that Origins didn't even happen, so that's where he got the bullet! And besides, even if the movie didn't happen in the timeline, does that suddenly change the properties of adamantium? Or physics? Okay, I've given up trying to figure out where the fuck these movies fit in the timeline. I looked at this as a standalone movie that references previous events in the franchise. You don't need to see any other X-Men movies to enjoy Logan. And after all that's happened in this franchise, that may actually be Logan's most impressive feat. At this point, I don't even think you could make a good movie that fits perfectly within the X-Men timeline. It's too damn confusing. I'd rather them focus on making a good movie, and that's exactly what they did. Plus, the timelines in the comics are constantly changing, and nobody seems to complain about that. But you know what they do complain about? How often the X-Men comics get shit on by the movies. I mean, in Logan, they literally flash around comics. I know they're not real, but they're still X-Men comics, and call them bullshit. Yeah, but I love when things get meta, so I was a big fan of that. As well as when the kid was holding the Wolverine action figure. I think in a decade or two, when they reboot the X-Men franchise and follow the comics to a T, we're going to look back on Logan's handling of X-Men comics as blasphemous, in the same way we look back at them making fun of the yellow spandex in the first X-Men movie and get pissed off, because that's all we've ever wanted. They couldn't have even included a flashback scene in any of these Wolverine movies of him wearing the yellow spandex, the original costume. God, even the Academy Award-winning Suicide Squad gave us that. Please don't call it Academy Award-winning. You don't think the Eric that loved X-Men Origins Wolverine would have also loved Suicide Squad, do you? I mean, Origins was 8 years ago, and you've clearly done a complete 180 on that movie. I don't know. 8 years from now, could your opinion of Logan be similar to your opinion of Origins today? A lot can change in 8 years. Looks like the Uber's here.
So let me know in the comments what you guys thought in video responses, the comments, whatever you want to do. Let me know if you loved it. Let me know if you hated it. Tell me in the comments. And
Good night.
that's pretty much it.
Take care,
See you later,
Buck.
guys.